Hi, everyone. Harry here to discuss the first fruits of the investigation on Capitol Hill of the second strike, the one that killed two survivors clinging to the wreckage. First, the headline, I think. Admiral Bradley basically falls on his sword, or maybe is simply telling the truth. He denies the accounts of the people in the Washington Post, two anonymous sources, that Hegseth, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, had given a general command to kill them all, and therefore he was complying with this command that seemed to be completely lawless. Moreover, so point one, he seems to exculpate Hegseth, and that's pretty big, even as he potentially is inculpating himself, because his claim, he is all in on defending the actual strike. And here's where there's a very stark departure as between Republicans and Democrats. So they saw the video, the two big things that have happened this morning in closed door meetings with the intelligence committees are they see the video and they talk to Bradley. And the video has Democrats saying, for instance, Representative Jim Himes, top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee, it's one of the most troubling things I've seen in my time in public service. You have two individuals in clear distress without any means of locomotion with a destroyed vessel who were killed by the United States. So according to his description, it is, indefensible. And that's what the commentary has been in the last few days. It's the paradigm. You do a strike, people are clinging to the wreckage of a ship. They are so-called or combat, and you kill them anyway. Bradley, and with the support of Republican senators, is going in on saying it was a lawful second strike, with the argument that somehow these two folks that we've seen as having been blown out of the boat and just clinging to wreckage could have, he said the video showed the survivors were trying to flip a boat. Now, that sounds to me like what someone would try to do to try to survive if they're clinging to wreckage that is bottom up. But Senator Tom Cotton said the attack was highly lawful and lethal because the video showed the survivors were trying to flip a boat loaded with drugs bound for the United States. Now, what does this mean? They seem to be, we had understood it was almost just fragment of a boat that would be unable to move. But Cotton is asserting something like they could flip the boat over, these two wounded members of the boat crew, and take it to the United States and deliver the drugs. It seems to be something, along those lines. It seems completely fantasy land, right? I mean, if we had done the right thing according to the laws of war, for one, we could have just arrested them. What we couldn't have done is just blown them to bits. And then you have a House member, Republican, from Arkansas, Rick Crawford, saying there's no doubt in his mind that the Defense Department was carrying out the strikes in a highly professional manner. Okay, so headline one is the Admiral basically letting Hegseth off the hook, it seems. But now we're going to hear from whoever were the sources, I think, in the Washington Post. And number two is the actual kind of Rashomon, difference of opinion of the very same thing, where you have Republicans saying highly lawful and this is highly professional, and you have Democrats saying, what the hell, this is one of the worst things I've ever seen. Now, I think we're going to wind up seeing this video, just like we get summary of what Bradley said, even though it's closed door meetings, mainly because Congress leaks like a sieve. And this is a very highly charged political issue. But think of Hymes's reaction. One of the most troubling things I've seen: two individuals in clear distress without any means of locomotion with a destroyed vessel. That destroyed vessel, by the way, matters hugely as against the Republican assertion or scenario that they could have righted the vessel and taken the drugs to the United States. But recall Hegseth's defense, which is, I summarize it as two parts. One, I'm a really important guy and I had to go to another meeting. But two, fog of war. He's looking at the video, the same video that Hymes is looking at, who says one of the most troubling things I've seen, and who the Republicans are looking at when they're saying, it's absolutely by the book. But what does Hegseth say? Fog of war, all kinds of blockages of what you could see, sort of, apocalypse now, moment of total bedlam. That's inconsistent with both, right? That's him saying, and that's his defense for asserting he didn't even know about the second strike for a few hours after. So this video, when it comes out, is going to be huge because it will essentially permit the American people to judge, A, does this look like just a nice professional hit or a bombing of defenseless persons? And B, is the whole thing so crazy and obscure that it's sensible that even looking right at it, Hegseth isn't able to discern that there is even a second strike. So, there is certainly more to investigate. And there are these anonymous sources that I think the committee already knows who they are. They will probably hear from. So we'll have people who say, heck, I heard Hegseth give that order. But with Admiral Bradley saying, no, he didn't, that blunts, I think, in significant part, the main issue of going after Hegseth, makes his odds of sort of survival more likely. But for Bradley, he's, putting his whole professional future, maybe his liberty, under the Uniform Code of Military Justice on the line, and asserting this very video that will be the prime evidence and is just going to be there for courts martial or the Congress or the American people. It's just, nothing here, folks. We killed him, but we were supposed to kill him. They were dangerous, and they could have turned the boat over. I mean, that's, I think, going to be pretty apparent from the video whose account holds up. Is it the account of these are still dangerous people in combat with us, as much as any of these people are in combat with us? That goes to the general question. Or are these ragtag survivors and classic paradigmatic targets that you may never, should never, in fact, are obligated never to kill in war, or even not in war, as it's either an extrajudicial killing or murder, unless it's a very different video than we've been told about before. So that's going to be the biggest thing to happen. When it happens, as I say, it's not supposed to, but nor were we supposed to hear about Bradley, nor were we supposed to hear the visual account of the video, and closed door is in air quotes when it comes to Congress. So really stay tuned for the video and really take the headline a big shot in the arm for Hegseth, that the operational commander says, no, he never told me to kill everybody on the boat. The people who are saying that must be mistaken. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.